I see you talk a lot about angels. I grew up Christian and believe in them, but I am not sure I totally get the concept of how they help us. Can I do something to be more in touch with them? Yeah, I love angels. I too grew up Christian, and I had this concept of, from a religious standpoint, what angels were, but I also didn't understand what they were until I started doing the deeper work of awakening. And a couple of examples come to mind to share that I think can be relevant for everyone listening. One example was when I talk about this in my book, Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics. On the back, it says, "The awakening kiss at 30,000 feet changed my life." I look at that person, that like legitimate, like physical person, as an angel in my life, because they actually gave me a transmission that spurred me to awaken my soul from within. In the end, it wasn't about that person. It was about that person giving me an awakening moment to go, wait a second, I think I'm lying to myself. Not intentionally, of course, but I had to come to a really deep place in my heart that at the time I was married, and I had really strict ideas about marriage and cheating and kissing and even thinking about someone else. So that person came in as what I like to call an earth angel, and someone that was in my life that I'm sure on a soul contract level agreed to play a certain role with me to help me to move my progression and my awakening journey forward quickly, catapulted me. So you may have an angel like that as well. It can be a friend. It can be somebody that you met and you're just like, oh, they just get me. They just like so get me. And I just feel so grateful for them. And yet I don't even know them, right? It can be those types of earth angels that come in. And sometimes they come in, it's like, I don't know, I hear this a lot about people in airports, right? That they end up meeting someone in an airport. They're at kind of like this vulnerable moment because like a flight got canceled or something's happening, and they just start talking to this person, and they just kind of like, figuratively fall in love with this person because they feel so comfortable with them. Well, that's an earth angel, and you may never see them again. And oftentimes stuff like that happens. So I like to say we brush our angel wings with others a lot, and just being grateful for those little reminders about just how humanity can just be kind and loving to each other for no reason at all, just because we can, right? Kindness is free. It doesn't cost us anything, and it means so much to so many. So that's what I would say when it comes to angels that are earth angels now, or terrestrial. The other angels that I love to talk about are the celestial angels, and I have a feeling this was probably a little bit more where your question was oriented, is like these angels in the sky. Like, where do they come from, and who are they, and what do they do, and how can we have them help us, right? And those are angels that we believe in, and there's a lot of different words I'm going to use, whatever resonates for you. Entities, spirits, guides, spirit guides, right? They're an essence, they're an energy, they're a feeling, they're an imagination, they're part of our imagination. At the end, like the big concept of consciousness is that we're all one, right? The ultimate reality of oneness is where we're going on our awakening journey. But between here, where we are right here in our hearts, and there, and I say there being up, but it's multidimensional of oneness. There are lots of dimensions, lots of layers, lots of things we can play with, lots of things we can understand, we can know, and angels are one of them. Guardian angels are one of the most beautiful things that we have. Sometimes they can be deceased loved ones that will come to us and we'll feel their presence, and I like to think of them as angels. It can be angels that are from different archetypes. It can be angels that are from different planets. It could be angels that entities, spirits, guides that are really assigned to us in this lifetime and that we want to build a relationship with. And I was going to say, oftentimes knowing their names or asking for their names can help us to just put some structure around the idea of them. Because at the end of the day, it is an energy and it's not always something we see, but sometimes we do see them. In fact, Another story that I talk about in my book, Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, is when 5 angels appeared in my living room. I totally didn't expect it. I believed in angels, but I had never seen an angel. I'd never had an experience where an entity entered the room that I could remember. But honestly, I was always scared of it. So when they came to me, I wanted to ignore it. I wanted to deny it. I'm like, I must be hallucinating. I must be crazy. And then it was like, no, I know how I felt. And the message that they had for me was keep going. And that was it. That was the message. But it came with this swoosh through my whole body, this energy, this like, whew, that gives me goosebumps to just even say it today. And I was just like, oh, I get it. You are here with me and you're encouraging me to keep going. It was after I'd left my husband, I was asking for a divorce. I'd come back to the marital property to take care of our dog because my soon-to-be ex was out of town. And I had this beautiful encounter. I denied it for a long time until I really just was like, no, I'm not going to deny the experience that I had. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had, to just know that I'm not alone and that all of those angels are still elements of my multidimensional self. But it's so nice and so refreshing when we feel them and when we sense them, and that we can sense that feeling of just not being alone. And it brings just a glow and a wholeness in our heart. So I highly encourage you to work with your angels. There's lots of ways you can do it. I guess one that comes to mind is journaling. I'm just such a big fan of journaling and just writing a question like, who are you? Who are my guardian angels? And then most importantly, letting that pen just write. It's not hard at all. But I understand in the beginning, it can feel a little bit hard because you're like, your mind wants to put on the paper what you think you should say. And that's not what this is. It's like, just let the pen write, like whatever it is, even if it's gibberish, like in the beginning, it's just like, I don't even know what I'm saying. Do it because it starts to get you into the flow of the energy. The other thing you can do, which I also really love, and I recently did this and had a profound experience with my grandparents on my mother's side. I lit rose incense because I wanted to get some insights from my grandmother. And I knew she loved rose, and I felt called to light this incense. And when I did, because incense is like just a nice little communication up into the other realms and dimensions that I want guidance. I want to speak to you. I want to pray for something for myself. And so I lit that incense and boom, unbelievably, they came in and they had all these things to say. And it was because I practiced so much at remote journaling, remote writing, that I could just, it just was coming through like craziness. Stuff that, the next day, even the next hour, I look at and I go, I couldn't have written that. Like, I wouldn't know that this is not something that's in my awareness. But now it is, because I had that experience. So journaling is a great way, lighting some incense, being in a quiet space, sitting in nature. And, if you want and you feel really comfortable, just like closing your eyes and meditating and visualizing, I think that's also a really great thing to do, to bring in some details about some of your guardian angels. Maybe they'll show you the boots that they're wearing, or the clothes that they have on, or the color of their hair, or something about their facial features. Or there's lots of different ways that our guardian angels will communicate with us and show us that they are with us. All right. Super great topic. I love it. Thank you for asking it. If anyone else has any additional thoughts or comments, please put them in the comments below. If you go to bethbell.me, you'll also get some really incredible insights in my book, Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics. About angels, I tell all the stories and to go into more detail than what I did here. So, all right. Thank you so much for all the questions you've submitted. I just so appreciate it. I love answering them. And please go to bethbell.me. There's so many resources, so many things there. We're going to have a mentor membership program to sign up for. There's Awakening and Healing Handbook. There's my book, The Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics. There's so many great do-it-yourself on the spiritual ascension journey, but there's also hand-holding, and I look forward to getting to know you more. You can take the State of the Heart assessment coming soon. and we will do this together. We're all in this together. So please ask the questions. If you have the question, chances are many other people do. They just don't have the bravery to ask it. So please don't hesitate.